Learn to See the Hard Way, exercise 47, we apply what you learned about the ternary search tree to create something called a fast URL router. So this is something you would find in, say a web framework like Django or a web server. I use this in a web server I made called Mongrel2, and I can show you that project super quick if you want to see some code. I no longer manage it. It's actually managed by the nice folks who like to use it. .com, Mongrel2, Mongrel2. It's an open source project, and it was a web server that I started. And basically, it's a kind of cool little web server. It's now managed by other folks, so if there's bad code in it, it's not entirely my fault. No, they're good folks. They know what they're doing. So anyways, the purpose of a URL router is when a URL comes in, you go call some sort of module to have that module run, or like a callback or a handler. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a quick code review of the URL router so you can see how a ternary search tree works, and you can see me do the new process you should be using, which is get an impression code review, then do a formal code review, and then make your changes. Or an impression code review, and if it's super, super messed up at that point, make your changes. Okay, the code review for this is pretty simple. So first thing I got to do is I start at my top because I'm doing an impression, and I'm looking for anything weird. Okay, so I'm going to add a route. I'm checking that. I'm checking these things. Oh, I don't really check there. All right, I'm going to have to watch. I'm not really checking the return values on those splits. So I got to confirm that. Okay. And I open the map file for the routes. All right. And I get each one. I'm not seeing anything too strange. This is a fairly small program, so. And then I match URL, search by prefix, and then read line. I'm going to come in and read the line one at a time. Okay. And I have my little destroy callback. Okay, that's weird. Why am I doing that? Oh, I'm guessing so that this is... Yeah, so it's ignored. Okay. Destroy routes, traverse the tree, and destroy it. That's fine. Because I have my own destroy callback there. So, and then, because I destroy the value at that point. Now the main function, anything strange in that? Checking my arguments, loading the file, doing a while loop on that. Destroy route. Yeah, so here, how do I break out of this? I guess you don't. You just hit Control-C. Yeah, so bug only Control-C to get out of this. All right, so that would be something I would potentially want to change. Okay, so that's my first impression. And now what I'm going to do to continue the first impression is I'm just going to make sure that everything's correctly passing a build. And I believe I have in my tests, ls tests txt. Do I have any URLs? ls tests. Nope. So I'm going to make a quick URL file. urls.txt, and let's do go look at the book and see what we want for a format. I have some sample data in here just so we can run it really quick. And let's see, get the test data. Here's our tests. And what I want to do is I just want to make sure that it works the way I think it works, because that's part of this a demo of a code review process. And I'm going to get that, do that there. All right, so as you can see, I'm matching a URL to a handler. And the handler could just be some arbitrary name. Okay, so now if I do bin URL lore, let's make sure it gives me a thing. Okay, and I got my urls.txt. I can type in, and then I have things to test.html. and that matches, but if I do blah, 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 does not match. Okay, that works. Now for the formal code review, what I'm going to do is start at the very top. Okay, I'm coming through here, and I'm going to now dive into load routes, and I'm going to confirm that it takes a string and returns a TSTree, and I come in and I'm going to do fopen, and I'm not going to do the man pages because I know these. Okay, begets. I do want to see if I can jump to that and confirm that it takes a void parameter, a terminator, and a get string, because this is a new function. I haven't used it yet. So we're going to use fgetc to read off of the route map file using begets, and that's going to give me a line. Okay, so I trim anything off. This is giving me each line by line, and then I close the lines. Okay, come in, and then I want to go into here, load route data. Okay, and this was something I want to do check data doesn't equal null. Bad data from B split. Okay, confirm that worked. Tests are running, and then I want to confirm TSTtree. And that takes, and I'm assuming that because it's in a library, I don't have to go confirm it. I just have to look at the parameters. And it takes a node. I've got a node. And it takes a key. I've got my key. And it, and it takes a length. I've got my length. And it takes a value that I'm going to set. I got my value. Okay, great. And it returns a route structure. I delete my bstring list from there, I return routes, and if there's a null, I do that. And I should, if data bstring list destroy data. All right, so I actually just improved that too. Okay, that function is good. Now I'm coming through bdestroy, that's good. Fclose, that's good. If there's a route map, close it. If there's a line, delete it. Okay, actually that could be a bug. Yes, because line doesn't get set to null after this call to bdestroy. So, conundrum. I can have a check happen here and a check happen there. Where is line created? Line is created from there. So, if I bdestroy here and it loops to the top, you know what, just to be safe, I'm going to say line equals null for error cleanup. Okay, so we're doing a destroy, then setting it to null, so that way when it reaches here, if it was destroyed, but there was an error, it won't actually do a double free on accident. Okay, that's a common error. And recompile. Okay, there we go with that. Okay, while one, I'm just going to assume that, okay, fine, we just wrote it this way, but now I do read line. I step into that. I'm going to do a begets on stdn. I check debug cool. I trim the white space on it, and I return it. Otherwise, I return null. But see right here, that could fail, and I don't free this. So if result bdestroy result. All right. And the prompt is good. Okay, so now pop out of that. Good, match the URL, pop into match URL. I do a TST search, confirm the parameters to TST search. I'm doing a root, a key, and a length. I got my root, I got my key, I got my length. That is good. And then I just search. If I don't find an exact match, I print that out, and then I do just by the prefix, and it takes the same parameters, and I return. There we go. There's no error checking in that because it just calls. Okay, so I print it if I found it, otherwise I don't, and then I destroy the URL that got read. So there we go with that. Now I destroy the stuff I created. That is good. This takes a tree, a callback, and some data to hand to the callback, and my destroy callback is there. Okay, and then finally come out of this, and if there's an error, destroy the route. But actually I'm going to do if routes, then destroy routes. Okay, now let's just confirm that our changes actually do something. And blah, 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 fail, blah, 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 oh, wait. Oh, that's funny. Let's go see if that's actually true. Let's see. No, it is not. I matched ASDF. It matches index handler. Oh, yes. So that is right because I'm doing just a soft match on a prefix. So this brings up something from the code review, which is I wonder if I could change the prefix so that I got a soft match. I do a flag for the soft match. That would be interesting. So let me show you that. So what is happening is I am doing the match function here. So I'm going to jump into match. Now, what happens is I search, and if I don't find an exact match, then I can do a prefix match. So what I want to do is I'm going to change this up. I'm going to do an out parameter, int out prefix. Okay. Now, at the calling site, I'm going to pop back. I'm going to do address of prefix, and I'm going to create an integer up here, int prefix equals 0. Okay, so now what happens is this should flag whether it got a prefix or not. Let me just make sure it compiles. Oops. And then what I want to do is I want to set this to be the value of out prefix equals 1, else, oh yeah, so then value of out prefix equals 0. And you know what? That logic is inverted. I would prefer to have positive logic first, so let's do that. Now that I'm doing a full if-else like I should. Okay, this is good design decision time here. Okay, recompile. That does that. Now what I can do is I can say if route, and then I can do if prefix. I can do prefix match. Else, oops, that's the wrong direction. Kick you in. And then do this. Okay, now let's try it again. Okay, let's see. Let's do slash prefix match slash exact match. There we go. So the code review and the testing manually confirmed that I can actually go and do an improvement to the design, because it would be important to know that you matched by a prefix versus an exact, because maybe you want someone to set a flag in a config file to say, hey, this handler handles anything with this prefix versus, no, this handler is exactly just this match. All right. So that's the analysis. Me playing with it and everything is already done, improving it. Collect all possible matches, then choose the longest one as the winner. That's another thing you could do. You could also find prefixes, and then use a regex to choose the winner. Extra credit, instead of just storing the string for the handler, create an actual engine that uses a handler struct to store the application. The structure would store the URL to which it's attached, the name, and anything else you'd need to make an actual routing system. So handlers, maybe you could load .so files. Instead of mapping URLs to arbitrary names, map them to .so files. Put these callbacks in your handler struct, and then you have yourself a fully dynamic callback handler system in C. That's actually a useful library. Maybe you should add that to learn C the hard way. That's the end of lecture 47. Thank you very much. Hold on and go over to lecture 48. Hopefully you've been getting a lot of value out of my code reviews. I don't normally talk while I do code reviews, so remember, they go way, way faster, but the talking, I hope, shows you how I'm thinking and what I'm going through when I do them, and it teaches you a lot. Thank you very much.